Hi everyone, LazyFire here. Welcome back to Hate the Player, and good news, the entire crew's here now.
Getting the band back together.
That's right. This took about
6 months.
3 weeks of coordination,
Yeah.
just to get everyone on schedule in the same chat.
With working equipment.
Yeah, overcome some technical difficulties. So you better fucking appreciate what we've done here. God
So
damn
much
it.
appreciation. I want to be paid tens of cents.
Yeah. Listen, I can go back. I can look at my YouTube revenue for the last month. Hold on. Sorry, potential revenue.
Potential revenue.
Yeah, if you go to YouTube and you go to like your dashboard or your studio or whatever it is, you can see what your potential revenue would be if you had actually like monetized your videos.
I think you'd probably have to pay them at this point.
Yeah, I gained 10 subscribers though, so that's interesting.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Bots. All bots.
bots,
Yep, bots.
all bots, and I made an estimated 11 cents of revenue.
Ooh.
Yeah, right. You guys
Split.
literally know 1,000 here.
Man, we wouldn't even get tens of cents.
Yeah, well, I mean, you get 10 of cents. And then-
Well, I mean, if like we decided to murder each other, that'd be the worst taunting ever.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like, yeah, this would be a really good idea, is just to put those 11 cents in a trust, and we'll buy some stock with it, and hopefully it goes somewhere. Whoever survives the longest, it's actually hold on to
Maybe we
the
can
money.
afford a Bitcoin.
Oh, yeah.
How?
We'll travel
how are
back. We'll
how
travel
are
back to
Bitcoins
when that
going?
Winamp video was made. Sorry?
I don't know. Does anyone
Bitcoin?
even really care anymore?
Yeah,
did it-
it's more about Star Citizen these days, let's face it. Bitcoin apparently had another meltdown. It's at like half
Oh,
of
you
its
don't say.
total. Yeah, believe it or not. There's nothing to really buy with it because all the networks are shut down. Like, there's a couple of companies that are accepting it, but they only accept it through other companies that transfer it into real world dollars first. And it looks like they think they found the guy, but they think he's not the guy who made it. So, I mean, there's a lot going on, but nothing really good. I really need to go check out the news on Bitcoin.
I just remember it's not something I kept up with because, I mean, it's an awful unregulated currency, and why would anybody ever want to use it unless you're buying drugs on the internet?
Well, if you're buying drugs on the internet, it seems to be something that you could use it for. Not really suggestible, apparently. Considering the last guy to run a market to do that was kind of sort of arrested for hiring a hitman.
Well,
And
I
running
mean,
a drug
that's separate
market.
from selling drugs.
Yeah. Man, there are people who defend that guy too. That's the funniest thing. It's like,
Dread
he kept
pirate!
drugs. He kept drugs off the street and like delivered them directly to your door, so you didn't have to worry about getting killed. And so therefore, he was a good person. It's like, yeah, but he was facilitating the sale of like heroin and cocaine and causing problems, by doing things like that. Oh no, it's the user's fault, not his fault that he made a marketplace. Like, these are the same people who want like banks to have their top people, put in jail over the financial crisis.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you know me. I'm pretty liberal dude, but if you've ever had any firsthand experience with somebody who's addicted to something hard like meth or heroin or crack, it's a pretty awful thing. And I've kind of softened my views on drugs considerably now that I've seen more people that have problems with that. But I suppose you could make the argument that it's just the same as like people who are addicted to alcohol, because I mean they all smell the same certainly. But oh wow, that was a Trump
that
2016
racist.
soundbite right there.
Yeah,
But
build a wall.
uh, but Yeah,
So like I used to watch a
can't
ton
see
of
it.
like Intervention, like that show on A&E,
Hmm.
and like the weird thing was the worst ones were always the alcoholics. Like yeah, like the heroin addicts and the meth addicts were, like really bad, and like but the ones who like absolutely had their lives in ruins were like the hardcore alcoholics who had to drink like a handle of vodka a day. Like
Oh yeah,
it's
those
really
those are
fucked
always
up.
terrifying to see. What is it? It's the like the hyper drinkers in the world will drink about the equivalent of a handle of vodka a day, or like a I think it's like a 18 pack of beer or something like that
Well,
in
and
a day,
what's
and that's like yeah.
well, what's crazy is that like at that point they have to, or they run the risk of dying.
Yep.
Like at that point, your body is so dependent on having alcohol that they're just trying to stay alive by drinking that much. They're really not even getting drunk. They're just trying to keep from dying.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
Yep.
it's crazy. It's you see people who actually do that. It's like, oh my god. Like
So
yeah. Go
you have
ahead.
to wonder if the problem is really with the drug or if it's just with the person who abuses it. Because right now I'm sitting here having a glass of scotch. Strokes neck
Mm,
beard,
yeah.
tips
Tips.
monocle, raises top hat. And I mean I'm a functional alcoholic, so
I actually have somewhere near zero tolerance these days. I might drink like 2 days a week, and by that I mean I will have a beer.
well yeah
So,
that's what I mean by functional alcoholic. It was a joke, but
uh,
uh,
but I'm
fun,
just in terms of like what I can withstand. So that's what makes it kind of crazy to me. I had people over last week because I make mead now, and so I did a release party for the mead, and
wow.
I had two 64-ounce growlers full, and by the end I didn't even have a half a growler. And each growler is about four 750 milliliter bottles of wine, three and a half, something like that.
Yeah, it's
Oh
So you
about
can
wow.
four
imagine
pints
I
each.
had
Yeah.
10 people in my house. Not all of them drank at the same rate. I barely had anything. Uh, and there was beer too, and it was all this stuff. And I was watching people drink, and I'm like, maybe 6 months ago I could have done some of that, but now I've just like completely taken myself off of it. But
Huh.
I wasn't that bad before, so you
So
know
so
where are we
you
going?
stopped drinking. That's
Yeah.
exciting.
Well, I
Makes
also
like when you say you stopped drinking, it kind of makes it sound like you had a problem.
well, I
But
mean, I don't know. Maybe it was a problem, but not really an actual like I need to have a drink or I will die kind of problem.
oh,
Uh, I'm not that bad. I wasn't that bad.
It's one of those things where it's like, oh, I'm bored. I guess I'll have a beer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of the front we're talking about here.
yep.
Um,
As
yeah,
I drink
it's
my
just,
scotch.
but you see that from a distance, and you're just like,
Hmm.
I can't imagine getting into it that bad. And I have seen it with, especially in the area I live in, all the cops in the area carry Narcan in my
Oh
town
yeah,
or
they
my
they
Yes,
just
city.
started doing that here in Denver. Like
which is
heroin
a
has
good
gotten
thing.
really really bad.
There's actually a synthetic opioid that they've been kind of cutting the heroin with. That's
Yeah,
a
the
hell of a
fentanyl.
lot stronger. Yeah, the carfentanil. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're like, oh, it's an elephant tranquilizer. The
Sign
thing,
me
the
up.
thing. I
yeah,
mean, if they were smart, which I mean, they're drug dealers, so I mean, but somebody has to be making the shit. So somebody smart has to be somewhere along the line. Why don't you, if this synthetic opiate is 100, let's just say 100 times stronger than heroin, then why don't you put in 100, 100th of the heroin in there, and you just cut it with everything else.
yeah.
I mean, that number one, that's good business. Number two, you aren't killing your customers.
Yeah, but the drug dealers are generally not the suppliers who are putting this together. And I think
That's
they've
true.
traced most of the fentanyl that comes in to like research labs in China. So the same people who are
Ah,
ordering like, crocodile are getting this shit too.
Yep. Ah, crocodile.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Welcome to the drug
Anybody,
episode, everyone.
yeah, anybody
Yeah.
listening to this episode, Google image search crocodile. K R
Don't
O
don't
K
do it.
D I
Nope,
L
don't even listen
or
to
Don't
his
A
do
D
spelling.
I
it.
L.
It's
Yep.
worse than you could remember if you've seen
It's
it
modern
before.
leprosy. Yay!
Welcome
Actually,
to Russia.
so Vice did a really good like video
In
on
air
crocodile.
quotes, really good.
No, I mean like so like I really like Vice's journalism specials. Yeah, they get
Oh
a
no,
little
I
high
wasn't
and
making a joke
mighty.
on that. I was just saying, you're saying it's
yeah.
good.
I mean, it's
Like,
awful,
yeah, let's watch people's flesh rot off.
but
Oh, this is
it's
great.
like in depth on the streets of Russia with people who live in back alleys, and all they do is try and get more of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's a drug addiction right there.
Hmm.
But yeah, like the just like in this area, they actually had the fentanyl contaminated heroin come through and put like 7 people in the hospital over the course of a weekend, uh, just for ODing on heroin, which is like they usually got like maybe one in the city that this happened in
Right.
maybe the entire weekend. This is just like Friday to Saturday overnight.
It's
7
even
people.
gotten to the point here that like the first day they issued what is it what's it called again?
Narcan.
Narcan.
Narcan. Yeah, the
Narcan.
first day
Narcan.
they issued
Narcan,
it to Denver PD, they like saved 4 lives from overdose,
Hmm.
and they've even begun a policy to where like if you OD, there's no like legal repercussions. You don't get charged with like possession or anything. It's like they're literally just out there trying to save your life.
Yeah. Yeah, and there are people in the area I live in who are fucking furious that the cops are carrying this because they get that,
Let them
it's a
kill
drug
themselves.
addict. Yeah, it's a drug addict. Why should we save them? We
Well,
should be yeah, that
the
stuff.
same reason that I give or I don't give, I sell junkies clean needles because
I thought
one
you were
day
going
they
to say
might
the
not
reason I sell junk.
be. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but the same reason that I do that because one day they might not be an addict anymore, and number two, preventable disease. Their addicts aren't wealthy usually, so who do they think is going to pay for their hepatitis C
Right.
treatment,
Yeah.
which can
Yeah.
cost like $100,000 a month? Any
Yeah.
any guesses? Because it's not them.
Taxpayers.
Yep.
Don't worry, those same taxpayers are paying for me, so that's
Ugh.
I love being on government money. Thanks to government money, I went from selling $6 million of parts a year, working 60-hour weeks, to working straight 40-hour weeks and making more money than I did selling actual equipment. And
Yay.
what I've actually done, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Thank you, government money.
Yay. Thanks, Obama.
Can I really just
Eh.
mention real quick like how amazing like Hep C meds are now apparently?
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
like
They came up.
my mom actually ended up getting Hep C through a blood transfusion back in the early
Yep.
80s. Like
Yep.
contaminated blood and didn't even like realize it till early 2000s. And granted, she went through like a year of hell through the medications, like basically almost like chemo. She basically had the flu for a year and like hair loss and whatnot, but absolutely no trace of the virus left in her body.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like in the past few years, they've made like massive strides.
and they've
However,
made
it
like
is
you haven't
expensive
heard
as
shit
shit.
about it, and it's crazy. Like they've come close to curing Hep C in a lot of cases.
Yep.
Hmm.
Which is the only one. Hell, they've got vaccines for the other ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I mean, they've come close.
thanks
So,
Obama.
Yep.
Yeah. How
No,
dare
genuinely,
you.
thanks Obama.
Yeah.
That's man, it's gonna be real fun to retire that one, isn't it?
Oh man. Tell you what, if there's one thing, if there's one person in this election cycle who was a winner, it's George W. Bush.
Yeah.
Because tell me you don't look back on the Bush years now and you're like, yeah, those were all right. Like with this
Yeah.
election coming, be like, yeah, he wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
He
I would
was
rather have
comical.
him again.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was bad, but it was
He,
like comically bad.
Right. And at least with him, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but at least with him, like you felt like he was trying to do what he thought was right.
yeah.
Like I never got like this malicious, I'm just trying to get myself rich, fuck everybody else type vibe from him.
Oh yeah, he was trying his
Cheney,
best.
sure, but him, not so much. And he actually did do some good stuff, like Medicare Part D. Like that pays for a ton of old people to get their medicine, like a
Up to a point.
shitload.
It was
So
passed in such a way that they have that thing called the donut hole.
yeah, which
But
they're shrinking down with Obamacare, and in
thanks. So
2020 it'll be gone. But deductibles have gone up.
yeah. What
So
do you
it kind
expect?
of balances out. Well, I mean, yeah.
God, we're all
There's
about
no
some
way it
fucking
wasn't gonna
adult
happen.
chat this go round.
Yeah. Let me tell you about my mortgage.
Oh God. Hey, yeah, I'm refinancing my house. Yay.
Wait a minute.
Yay!
I actually almost lost my house. That was real fun.
Oh,
Oh
Because
Jesus!
my mortgage company sold my mortgage to Chase. It took me a minute to
and they
remember
didn't
which.
tell you, right?
They didn't tell me, and I've been getting letters from Chase since the day I moved into the house telling me I was pre-approved for credit cards, and I had seen so many of them over the years, I just kept throwing them out and throwing them out and throwing them out.
Right.
One day my wife tells me, "Wow, we have a lot more money in the co-account than I thought we should." And I think it's like it looks like our last mortgage payment was returned to us. And I'm like, "Oh, well, we always overpay, so maybe they just like sent money back or some shit." It turns out we had hit the end of the "we're going to forward your payment to the new company" period.
Ooh.
Oops.
And we had 3 months of missed checks.
Womp womp.
And the next time I got a Chase thing, out of just pure curiosity, I opened it up. And sure enough, it's like, "We're going to start foreclosure proceedings on your house because you haven't paid us in months." And I'm like, "Oh shit." I had to call them up and like
Mm-hmm.
go through this entire thing. And the first thing I said was, "I called you idiots. I went through your dumbass system to get to a real person," because they didn't have the thing where you can just yell operator or whatever.
Right.
"I want to know why you didn't call me instead of sending me letters." "Oh, well, we're sending you a registered letter tomorrow." No. Why didn't you call me, like, at any
Yeah.
given time? Like,
Right.
leave me a voicemail, something. And, they don't have an answer for that because they just don't do that sort of thing. But you'd think that
Yeah.
if they really wanted their money badly enough, they
Oh
would
yeah.
call me.
Hey, the exact same thing happened to me because, like, I mean, I like who the fuck checks? At least for me, I never check my mail because if
I
it's
check mine
important.
once a week. That's
Yeah,
it.
right. Like paper
Yeah,
mail.
same.
It's like, come on, everything's electronic. If you send me mail, like, I hate you on principle.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, the exact same thing happened to me, and I had to call and be like, oh no, here you go, here's some money.
Yeah. And I guess that could have been, like, devastating if I didn't have the money to do that
Oh yeah,
immediately and just pay it off.
I mean,
Because they're like,
what's the damage been on your credit though?
probably minimal.
Okay,
Because
well,
I
that's
paid it
good.
all back in one shot.
Right, right.
So that was fun. That was like a moment where I'm like, well, if I was saving for anything,
well,
because they wouldn't accept my my card as it was, my co-statement card. So I had to give them like a bank account number and a routing number and all this shit. The only one I had on hand was my personal one.
womp
So
womp.
yeah, but whatever. Like, it's done. I'm still pissed off, and that was 6 months ago. But that was like last time we had the podcast. That's when that happened.
Oh, so and watch the next time we have the podcast, be like, oh yeah, my house is in default now.
Oops.
Womp womp.
Now, next time we have the
But-
podcast, one of us is going to have a baby. And I'll give you a guess who.
Yeah. Ain't gonna be me.
Sure
Oh,
shit
yeah,
ain't
yeah.
gonna be me.
Hey, you never know. Never know.
Yeah, I may
Fingers
just
crossed.
find one.
Fingers crossed.
It
I
sounds like
just found a baby.
It's like The Hangover, except real life.
Well, I do work in child welfare now, so it's not entirely out of the question.
Oh,
Mm. That's
that's moderately terrifying.
yeah.
I'm just an analyst. I don't work directly with the kids.
I was gonna
So,
say you're the guy
oh
who goes
God.
around takes pictures of the OD parents with the kids in the back seat.
So Mr. Toes, we see that you're a child welfare analyst.
Oh, I
Hmm.
spelt that wrong, huh? Freudian slip.
Wah, wah, wah. Um, but yeah, yeah. So let's see. We've talked about drugs. We've talked about mortgages. Wasn't there something we actually talked about in this stupid fucking
We
thing
used to talk about
podcast?
video games.
Oh shit.
Sometimes.
Well, let me tell you, I have rediscovered video games
Have you?
a little bit. Yeah.
A little
There's
bit.
actually this pretty cool new game called Paladins. It's basically Overwatch for poor people. It's a
Oh,
first-person shooter. It's made by the same people who made Smite. It's in beta now,
oh,
but
yeah.
it is a super playable,
Ye-
and yeah, they've got it's the microtransaction thing. It normally irritates me, but like I said, it's the same people that did Smite. Um, and they have the super reasonable, like, for a one-time fee of, it's like 33% off right now, but a one-time fee of $20, you get every character that's out and every character that's ever going to come out.
Huh, that's not
Instead
bad.
of, and you can buy them all, just by grinding in game and excuse me, paying for them.
Mm.
But they're a good studio, and they aren't, like I said, offensive with the oh hey, get some space crystals for this new skin that gives you bonuses to everything, and you get to win all the time. No, no, it's all cosmetic shit, but it's fun. It's a
Ye-
great game. There are like four different classes. You got frontline, which are more tanky people. You've got flankers, which are your like sneaky, high damage, like really high burst damage people. You've got your damage, which is they're varied, but they do a lot of damage consistently. Um, and then you've got support, which some are healers, some uh, fuck with the other team a bit. I mean, but it's a really good balance, and nothing really seems overpowered that I've noticed so far. Everybody has just one gun. Each character has a gun. There are no secondaries, anything like that,
Huh,
which is surprisingly simplifies everything. You
yeah.
have infinite ammo. You have to reload and all that, but it's fun to not have to actually play the game and not have to worry about uh, ammo and shit like that.
Does like
You have
everyone have like
abilities
a,
and
a successful counter to like a different weapon? Like, oh, if I'm going up against this guy, I need to be sure I have this character because
uh, kind of like and at the beginning of every round there are four different skill trees that you can pick one skill out of to go into. Like there's a like one skill tree has a decreased cooldown for your skills. You can run faster, just kind of utilitarian type stuff. You can pick one from there. One is your like damage tree, meaning you can do more damage, or you can do like 50% per rank in to enemy shields, because some characters have can deploy shields and shit like that, and it's super helpful. You can there's another one that is more defensive skills, like more uh, like faster regener health out of combat, uh, shit like that. And then you've got, what's the other tree? Ah, shit, I can't remember. Can't remember.
So the upgrades, is that like per character overall, or is that per
No,
character per game?
that's per game. And as each round progresses, uh, you get money for playing the objective, for killing people, stuff like that. Right now, there are two game modes. They just introduced a new one today. One is called Payload, and it's teams start on other sides of an asymmetric map,
Mhm.
and it's a mine cart that you have to that only moves forward when you're near it, and it doesn't move forward when there are enemies near it. And you have to get it to the other end of the map.
Mhm.
And then you have the other game mode, which I think is pretty cool. Think of it like King of the Hill, but so there's this like circle in the middle of whatever map you're playing. Um, and these are symmetric maps because they kind of have to be.
Yeah.
And you have to be in the circle for X amount of time. Meanwhile, the other team's trying to be in the circle too. So whoever
Right.
hits 100 first, and for every person you have in there, it goes up more or more
Yeah.
quickly.
It's like King of the
Um,
Hill sort of
right,
in a way.
but then after that, a bomb cart spawns and it goes towards whichever the enemy side is,
Oh,
and you have to escort it in, and it makes it's surprisingly interesting, and it's also interesting how bad people are at anything objective based.
yes.
Forever and ever, amen.
Yep. That's pretty much always true because like playing Overwatch, even I play with CQC and Strangelove and those guys a bit, and I swear to God, it's just if you win, a center objective or something like that, or you're taking the point, that is immediately when people vacate the area.
Yep,
And it's just like, goodbye, I'm going to go kill people and spawn, and then they get
yep,
around you, and you're completely
yep.
fucked. Uh, and it's
Like
just the same thing, man.
so
Although
the
we played a team of Maze one day, and they completely wrecked us because just the wall. They just kept building the wall.
Oh God.
Did they make America great again?
Yeah, one of them was actually named Trump and was the person who was playing May the previous round, and then the entire team picked up on it.
Oh my God, that's kind of wonderful.
I
Yeah,
facilitated an entire team of tracers one time, and it was really fucking fun.
yeah. Tracer is an interesting character because I get beat by them all the time, but I have no idea how. It's the same with Genji. Like, good Genji players, good Tracer players will just make you wonder what the fuck you're doing with your life. I wish I could play either actually well. I could play Junkrat reasonably well.
Tracer, you really just have to go balls to the wall, just get in the middle of stuff, disrupt people, and then just catch them off guard while they're confused. Like that's all it is. Is just not really having a strategy and just be willing to put yourself in the middle of people to distract them from other people. So they turn their attention to this little asshole zipping in and out and backtracking and then teleporting forward. And
Hmm.
during that, your entire team runs up on them and just kind of wrecks house.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You like have
Wish
to
I was
go
good.
into it being careless.
Yeah. Well, I do like being careless. I don't believe my kill count, my KD ratio matters in those games. Same thing with
Right.
Battlefield 1. But
Oh,
actually, they changed
speaking of which,
Battlefield 1 scoring.
how is Battlefield One? I haven't had any
It,
dealings with it at all.
the alpha was a lot of fun. Uh, very few bugs in it. The beta was a step backwards.
Really?
Like, yeah, they threw. I think I don't know what they did, but the beta map was less fun. It added more stuff to it. Like in the original in the alpha map, you had tanks, you had planes, you had the Zeppelin behemoth, and then you had armored cars. And then for the alpha map or the beta map, they had all that stuff plus jeeps and horses and specialty classes that you can pick up. So it was a bit more stuff. They added in different equipment and all the like. You could get full everything if you felt like it in
Hmm.
the beta. So it was interesting to see that, and they had the train and everything. Um, it felt like it worked really well when it worked. Like you'd start rounds where no one had weapons because the server would randomly decide that it was really cool to take anyone who had default weapons and then just strip them from them or non-default weapons at other times. Like Battlefield Jank is basically what that was.
That's wonderful.
And but the other stuff is pretty neat. Like the tanks have infinite ammo still, but instead of slowly building up shells over time like in Battlefield 4, you actually have to like hit the reload button and you'll start regenerating shells. So you
Hmm.
can't just like expect I went into this thing with 3 shells. If I time my shots right, I'll be able to get out of this. It's like, no, I went into this with 3 shells. I'm probably gonna die if
Huh.
anyone comes after me. And there's a shared ammo pool, so you start off with a canister shell, and the canister shell uses the same ammo as the regular shell. So if
Huh.
you're trying to like take out soldiers at the same time you're trying to take out an enemy tank, you have to be smart about it.
Hmm.
The horses are fun. The game, I already pre-ordered the game in full disclosure, but
Oh.
they did a survey after the end of the beta, and so people were like, tanks are super overpowered. People would go regularly like 40-2 with the tank, with a light tank. And that is
Really?
partially, yeah, it's partially because engineers can no longer kill a tank on their own. Like, you need help. Um, so there's only
Isn't
one class.
isn't
There's
that
only
kind of
one
how it
class.
should be though?
Yes, I really believe it should be like that, and people not understanding that they're not Superman should not really ruin. It's like it's a team. This is what I hate. We always talk about Battlefield being this team-based game, and anytime there's anything that suggests maybe some teamwork be involved in this game, it completely goes out the fucking window. So, in the alpha, in the beta, the way you earn points or won the game was by capturing flags and holding them.
Hmm.
There was no kills adding to the ticket score.
Oh,
And it was like, okay, so you actually have an incentive to go and hold points and capture points.
that's actually a much more World War One attitude too, because they didn't really give a shit. I'm actually listening to a podcast about World War One right now, and they didn't
God, you
really
were
give a
such a
shit about
fucking dad
casualties.
already.
I know, I
It's
know, I know.
hardcore history.
Yeah, yeah, hardcore
Yeah,
history, exactly. Yeah,
that's great. That one's really good.
yeah, yeah. It is. A friend of mine mentioned it to me, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll try it, and I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Carlin's got a good voice for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was a straight meat grinder in the alpha and the beta. The beta map was way too big. I feel like you couldn't. There was only one spot that was really densely populated. Like there's a little town, and that's where everyone was. There were times where I went to go spawn in, and I'd switch between squads to see if I could find one that was not just like on this one ridge all sniping. Uh,
What was the player limit for the alpha and the beta?
64.
Is
Oh,
that, I mean, are they holding that true for the release, or you think they're gonna bump it up?
No, they said it's going to be 64 player max for Conquest and some of the other game modes. They said they're balancing Rush around a 24 player limit, though.
Ew.
Yeah, so
uh,
basically Xbox 360 level.
but I don't know. I don't know if I mind that because if you, I mean, on the 360, Rush was fun. You
Well,
know,
it depends on the map size, though.
it's true.
Yeah,
It's true. It's true. But I mean, do you remember the one what Daviman Peak, like where you
yeah,
jumped off and
Oh
you could,
yeah.
hell yeah.
yeah. I mean, that was perfect for 12v12.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was a really fun map to play that on too.
Yeah.
But like we'll see. Rush, I didn't even touch Rush in the beta because I don't super like Rush as a game mode in Battlefield 4, and I was a little bit hesitant to try it again. And plus, the sniper rifles in Battlefield 1 are absolutely fucking ridiculous. Like,
Like really good.
like Scout was the second most played class.
Really.
The first one was Assault, which has SMGs and all of the anti-tank weapons.
But there were no SMGs in World War One.
Yeah, hey, have you been reading the Battlefield 1 thread then?
Oh
There's
no.
some guy who got like fucking offended that the emblem for the Battlefield 4 clan is Cosby.
One of
And
the things
has
that's
been since before the accusations got famous.
yeah, I know. It's been yeah, it's been Cosby for like way before.
Yeah. for
like
almost 3
years.
years.
Yeah. But it's funny to see like how this is going to a something awful specific thing, like how goons are slowly changing over time as the younger goons come in.
I
There
was
are
about
some
to say
younger
the
ones,
exact same thing.
and like,
It's
yeah,
funny
they're
how people actually get offended now. It's like, do you know who
yeah,
the fuck you are?
yeah, yeah. I'm
You're in the jungle, baby.
like a week after
You're
nine
gonna
eleven,
die.
like a week after 9/11, they were doing memes before memes were a thing. You know?
I just the Fresh Prince of Bel Air stomping on the towers.
Oh, the Hulk Hogan one's the best.
Yeah,
my my favorite one is the it's a crayon picture of the World Trade Center. One of them's got like a flaming hole in it. The other one's got a plane coming towards it. They got smiley faces on it, reaching for each other, saying, and then there's a heart around it saying, "I'm falling for you."
yeah, that's right.
I sent
Uh,
that to my fiance.
of course,
Yep,
that's how she knows you love her
that's
is
right.
you're falling
Yep.
for. God, yeah, like it was pretty funny that not only did this guy go into the thread and start like he was saying he didn't even like Battlefield 1 and he was going to join the Battlefield 4 platoon. So he was like clearly looking he was going out of his way to be offended. And he goes, "Oh, why do you guys have the Battlefield 4 thing as a Cosby emblem?" And so of course the immediate reaction from like Strangelove or somebody was something like well, that's actually Barack Obama. And it's just the same shit we do every time somebody in the chat gets offended by the Cosby emblem is we just basically go like, "Oh yeah, that's actually Dennis Rodman from 1988," and just just throw out random things. It's actually Kanye West in 10 years. We aged him up.
That's Omar Epps, you asshole.
Yeah, God. So like the guy gets offended and someone says take it to QCS. He goes to QCS and creates a thread.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Then when QCS mods tell him to go fuck off, he goes to GBS and creates a thread. And then he gets the thread closed there too and comes back. Oh no, sorry, he didn't create the GBS thread. Actually, somebody else did. Which was like somebody made a QCS thread because games told them to shut up. And to be fair, he made this giant, huge ass post. And the first response was, "It would probably help if you stopped being a little bitch." That may or may not have been me. And so, and so one of the admins in games was actually like straight on saying, answering this guy with "stop being a bitch" is probably not the right thing to do. And it's like, I don't know about that. It seems like the right thing to
How
do.
do people still not know that QCS is just FYAD 2.0?
I
Like,
don't know.
that's been like common knowledge for a long time.
The youngins. Oh, the youngins.
Yeah. So the end result is that right now there are a bunch of people in the Battlefield 1 thread who are posting fucking constantly about the game. They're sharing their shitty opinions that don't actually matter, and we'll never see them in game. We'll just never see them in game.
Well, to be
Like,
fair,
we'll
we
see
did
him-
the same thing for Battlefield 3. We did.
Yeah.
True.
Like, don't even
True.
pretend like we didn't. We absolutely
True.
did. We were insufferable.
Yep.
Oh yeah. We're completely
God,
insufferable
some guy.
assholes.
Some guy.
Oh, God, some guy. What
He got
the
himself-
fuck is he doing?
He got himself banned a while ago, but he still plays with the guys according to the thread. Arnold, you apparently were a badman.
I was. I know. I actually somebody sent that to me, and somebody Steam linked it to me, and I'm like, oh wow, somebody remembers me from the Battlefield 3 for being a
Yeah.
madman. Like, I mean that. I don't remember him, but he remembers me. And
Yeah, there was-
that's a wonderful feeling to know that I impacted people. I like some people go their whole life trying to make change in the world, but I did it. I reached out and I touched someone, and that stayed with them for years.
It was a bad touch.
Yeah,
and-
we changed what team they were on.
Yeah, we changed at least a few lives. There was like conversations about Battlefield threads or Battlefield servers, and it was all about like the KFS. And I said, well, what about Popodactyl's Playhouse on the Xbox
Oh man.
360? That was a classic. We had a lot of fun there. It was a good time. And somebody goes, oh, well, not if you weren't one of the cool kids and you couldn't get on the goon team and you had to just suffer. And they'd put the game on 1,000 ticket limit and then they'd switch you guys side to side until so they could make the game run longer. And it was like, yeah, I have a video of that. I should really post the World Series of Darts video again. And I went to go find it. I was on vacation when this happened, and I realized he was specifically referencing you. And I'm like, wait a minute, he's talking about the time Arnold did all that shit,
Oh
and how
yeah,
Arnold
was
would
that
kick people off the server for using stingers.
was that? Do you remember? Do you remember that match on Metro where we were up, where we left them with like 120 tickets or something, and we
Yeah,
had like 700, and we switched everybody over, and then
Yeah,
we
and
still
still
won.
won.
I
I fucking remember
recorded
that.
it. I recorded it. It's on my YouTube channel somewhere. It's titled The
Oh
World
god.
Series of Darts. Um,
Oh, that was when the dart was a thing.
yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
god.
Then we used the dart
Oh.
to, like, we used the dart to take their shitty score and make it a winning score. Terrible people.
Oh my god. Oh,
Hold on, I can find it. It's
oh
in my
god.
it's in
That
my
like
list. Here it is.
that
BF3 presents the World Series of Darts from April 20th, 2012.
April 20th of when?
120.
That's got to be like 2012.
2012, correct.
Yeah.
Hitler's
Holy
birthday.
shit.
Oh my
April
god.
420 on 2012.
Yeah.
Ah,
So,
god, that was fucking glorious. That was probably
The thing is,
one of
though,
my favorite
like
matches
I got
ever.
yeah, it was kind of frustrating to be on the non-goon team,
oh,
but
yeah, perpetually.
no, but that was your excuse to just be as big of a shithead as you could possibly be. Like you had to just resign yourself saying, okay, there's no way I'm gonna have a good score or we're even gonna win this map, but it's just your chance to be an asshole to people you know on the forums. Like you had
Yeah.
carte blanche to just be a shitlord.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the funniest fucking thing was when, like, one of the last games we played, or, like, maybe one of the last ones before BF4 came out, or before Arnold and I built PCs, was, it was Goon on Goon Violence. It was on Karg Island, and one person on our team would fly a Mav, and one person on the other team would use a Jav, lock onto the
Oh god, Matt Gaffing.
lock onto the Mav as it hovered near players and just nail the other guy. Like, one of the funniest fucking games.
Oh, who did we make mad? Who did we make mad? Was it Hellbender?
Everyone was mad.
Oh god. I remember it happened to me when I was in a tank. It was a friendly map hovering
Oh,
over
I
me.
remember.
Yeah.
I remember getting
Uh,
Mav Jav and just
I
being
got so salty.
furious.
Oh god. Oh god, taught my kids about being video game angry and how not to do it.
Fucking video game angry. Yeah. When Three Toes, when you build your PC, hopefully soon,
Hopefully by Christmas.
we gotta get into BF1. We'll get into the mumble. You won't get video game angry. You'll just get angry at the people you're around because. So, I fucking am so upset because I upgraded my NVIDIA drivers and all this other shit. I didn't realize it automatically turned off the record function, like the record the last 5 minutes stuff. And
Oh,
so we played a game. We played a night of BF4 after playing like everything else for the last 6 months. Went back to BF4, and we decided to just spend the entire night fucking with the physics engine in that game. And so it was like, drive this
like the
LAV into this
Goon Space
yeah,
program?
Goon Space program. Drive this LAV into this rock, build up enough speed that we can blow you off of it, and you'll go flying across the map. Someone actually killed a helicopter with it. That was pretty funny. But the I was like the defensive person, and so if a helicopter or a plane or something like that tried to ruin our fun, my job was to blow them the fuck up. And I shot down like 4 planes and 3 helicopters or something crazy over like 3 matches. Didn't record any of it. And it was just, there was a guy We were waiting for somebody to get back with the LAV near the spawn on Dragon Valley. So one of the new maps that you never would have played, Arnold, unless you played BF2. And
Yeah, I played Dragon Valley. That's the one that looks like Vietnam, right?
yeah, one of the
Okay.
ones.
Yeah.
So we're waiting for somebody to get over with the LAV. And then our teammate lands the helicopter. And by this point, we're losing by like 200 tickets. Lands the transport helicopter so we can get on. And, starts typing in chat, get in, we gotta go take points. We're like, nah. So me and the other guy who are gonna throw C4 down to blow the LAV over, start throwing C4 on the side of the thing, jump in, then jump out immediately. So he takes off, not realizing that we're not in there still. And when he gets like 15 feet in the air or so, we blow the C4. It knocks him on his side. He crashes and explodes. He's just spends the rest of the match raging at us in chat. Like, no wonder we're fucking gonna lose by 400 goddamn tickets, you goddamn retards. Like, oh man. It was the funniest goddamn thing. Like,
Oh man.
if I never fired a shot at anyone that entire game, that entire night I would have been happy because we just got one guy to get that angry. But instead, I got multiple people angry by shooting helicopters out of the sky. And that's what really gets people. Like, remember that time, Arnold, we were taking turns shooting jets out of the sky, and people were getting really fucking angry at us?
Oh yeah, yeah, with the
Yeah.
tanks.
Yeah. Tanks can't kill jets.
Well, they actually can, apparently.
My score line proves different.
Dude, we killed like what, five jets?
Yeah, it was fucking ugly, and I got a couple of helicopters too.
Oh,
Well, and it
Uh,
seems like it's going to be even easier in Battlefield 1 because they're just slow ass fucking biplanes.
You'd think that but the tanks fired like I made heavy use of the Sabo rounds in Battlefield 4 to do this stuff, so those travel faster and they don't deviate very much. The shells in BF1 are slow, kind of. They can't fire as high, and only two of the three types of tank actually have the main cannon, and one of the and the heavy tank main cannon can't aim very high. It's got a very limited range.
Gotcha.
So I can and I have shot planes out of the sky, because a lot of people who run bombers decide to sweep real low to use them. So you can just pop them right out of the air whenever you feel like half the time. But I wouldn't say it's as easy. The planes are definitely easier to shoot down than they are in BF4, but it's not dumbass with a helicopter flying too low easy.
Hmm.
So
So what kind of weapons do the planes have? Like little hand grenades they drop?
no, they've got like straight on bombing runs that aren't that bad. They actually do produce the hand grenade insignia when they land next to you, which I thought was pretty funny. But they've got machine guns. The bomber doesn't, obviously. It only has bombs it drops. There's an assault plane that drops bombs, also has machine guns, but it also has essentially a howitzer that is mounted on the underside of the plane. And there's a video Strangelove put up that has that him using it, just like completely destroying everything that flies, which is it's pretty bad. It's supposed to be for like attacking tanks on the ground, but it does like 10 damage to them or something, 10-15 damage for a direct hit, and you can repair tanks from the inside now. So
Wait, what?
yeah, if you hold X, you repair the tank.
No shit.
That's why people can go on these huge sprees, is because
That's retarded.
unless people work together, they can repair themselves. There's no class that has a repair tool. The only class that has a repair tool is the tank pilot class.
Hmm.
So they'd have to either get out and repair or stay inside and repair. And if you don't,
Tank pilot class?
yeah, the vehicles. If you spawn in a vehicle as the main user, you actually get forced into using a different class.
Oh, wow.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you can't just like pop out of your tank and suddenly be a medic.
No, yeah, you have to play as the tank pilot. So you have like shitty guns that aren't very good.
That makes
And
sense. And does that keep people from using jets as taxis?
yes, it does, because there's no sniper rifle. spawns with your jet. So very rarely do people use jets as taxis. Now you can jump in like the second seat on a jet and use it to like land on a high building or something or a high cliff. But there's not as many high buildings in the game. There's a couple of high cliffs, but they're not really that bad. You can climb up most all of them. So they did a pretty good job of, and your parachute, your ability to kind of steer your parachute descent is, let's say, extremely limited.
What
You can
about?
only
I'm
no,
sorry.
go
Keep
ahead.
going. Keep going.
No, you can only open the parachute after a certain distance. You've fallen a certain distance, and you can't really aim it too well. So it's difficult unless you have like the perfect angle to land on some of those like rooftops or cliff tops or anything like that.
So what about with horses? When you get off the horse, do you still have like your saber and everything?
Yes,
Nice.
like your melee weapon is still a saber. Uh, the the class with the horse is actually fantastic. I really like playing with the horse because you can just pop down med packs and ammo packs like left and right. Uh, like you get a bolt action and you get the saber and like some pistol and you get some additional armor. So some people have actually taken to like, okay, cool horse, spawn in on the horse, get to a nearer point, and then just jump off the horse and use this class with some additional armor. But you can also like pick up heavy machine gunner class and flamethrower class and then get on a horse. And so people have been doing that where they'll spawn in on a horse, go over and get like the machine gun, and then get back on the horse with your 200 health that you can regenerate yourself and start swinging sabers around. Like,
Nice.
yeah, people were doing that. It was pretty interesting. The horse is pretty sturdy, but they said they were going to make some changes in the release game. So they're going to give the support class a weapon to take out tanks with. So they might be getting C4 back, but C4 doesn't stick in this game. So
Oh, I was gonna
you
say,
have to
yeah.
like
Do you get any jihad horses?
no, sadly. I wish I could jihad horse something. I wish so bad. But then they're gonna also change how the scoring works, so kills will also count towards scoring. So as you get kills, your team's score will go up. The medic symbol when someone dies will always be over their heads instead of only appearing if they hit the Q button
Right.
to
You have
call
to
for a
opt
medic.
in now, right?
Yeah, you have to opt in to let the medic know that you can be healed. The only reason you'd ever actually hold the spacebar to go back to the spawn screen faster, it doesn't actually let you spawn any faster, but the only reason to do it is to try to beat somebody to a vehicle. So there's no good reason not to have that thing over your head. Um, and it looks like the support class was actually the least played in the beta, according to Dice.
Hmm.
So they said they're going to make some changes about it. So it'll be
And
interesting to see. I like the support class personally.
how was the destruction?
Bad Company 2 levels.
Nice. Thank
You
God.
probably even a bit better if you want my
So you can
honest
collapse
opinion
a
on it.
building on top of someone.
You can definitely collapse buildings or knock like rocks and shit onto them, similar to what you could do in BF3 at times. Uh, the better part really is that buildings don't collapse in the way that you expect them to, I guess. Like the parts of them disappear, break down, fall over and stuff and will kill people for sure. But it's not like okay, it's hit critical failure point. It's just gonna fall into the same pile of rubble as always. It doesn't really do that in
Huh.
BF1. It just like it's stripped down to its foundation. You can put holes in the dirt underneath the building and in the floor and everything like that.
Hmm.
So it's really interesting.
Hmm.
It's really well done. You can take out like individual stairs on the staircase and make it impossible for people to climb up to your sniper nest to stab you in the back. Like shit like that is just it's really entertaining in that regard. Um, but then you can always like throw a grenade at those motherfuckers or fire your rocket gun at them. Or, one of the other things you have to kill people and knock out buildings. But yeah, like if you want to kill a tank, and this is I think the point that people were not getting. You have to be the assault class, and if you want to fire the rocket gun thing at them, you have to be laying down so you can put the bipod out. Like, it has a bipod.
Oh.
And so I think a lot of people were trying to fire the rocket gun while standing straight up or something like that and just getting mowed down by the tank. Not real. And, when there was no penalty to dying, it wasn't going to affect your team's score. That was totally okay. Like, I didn't have a problem dying to the same tank. I would actually generally... So as a support class, I feel like this is probably going to change in the release game. You could refill your own explosives, including trip mines and grenades, instantaneously with an ammo pack.
Oh my god.
Like the starter
How
ammo
bad
pack.
did you guys troll that shit? Like, just tossing grenades?
It was ugly. It was like a complete shit show at times. But the way I dealt with tanks in the beta was to run up to the tank real close, throw my light anti-tank grenade, which is like one of the grenades that you can just pick up as your grenade weapon, and that explodes on impact if it hits a tank. So just get it close enough that it can't really turn to hit you very well, and just keep circling it, throwing down ammo packs and then throwing grenades at it until you ran out of everything you could do, because the ammo packs were on a cooldown. And by then the thing was either on its last legs or dead, and I took out 2 tanks at a time with that, like 2 or 3 different times. Like, if you're just brazen enough to go make something work, it works out. Which is why I liked it. It's like, yeah.
Can you make people get out and steal the shit?
Oh, people get out all the time. They think that they're going to somehow kill you or something like that. But I noticed that compared to BF4, BF3, people abandon the pilot seat on the vehicles way less in BF1. They stay in it. They actually stay down with the ship because they can repair it from the inside. Now, the thing about the repair from the inside, I should mention, is that anything that damages the tank in any way, shape, or form will actually stop the repair. They'll have to restart the repair process again every single time it happens. So as long as you ding it like once while it's trying to repair, you'll be totally fine.
Huh, that seems like a good change.
Yeah, it's really good. I think people just are having a hard time adjusting to not being able to SRAW something or jav something until it's dead every single time they play.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but we've been talking for quite a bit here. I feel like we covered drugs, Battlefield,
mortgage
alcohol,
payments,
refinancing houses.
Yeah.
The debates. I don't know.
Nah.
Oh, we're not even gonna go there this week. Not gonna do it.
Nope.
Yeah.
Not gonna do it.
Not gonna. Yeah. So I think that's 58 minutes of recording. Actually, we should probably end this.
Set it free.
Yeah, probably.
Let's drown this baby.
So we'll be back soon.
God
supposedly.
willing.
Ty?
God will. Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. All right. Well, bye everyone. Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself.
There we go. Glad.